Alright folks, I'm now going to continue with my overview of my 10 wonderful days in the land of the rising sun, Japan. That's where I was, kids, for 10 days. That's 2 of these. Alright, we traveled approximately 2,000 miles while in Japan, both in the cities and the countryside. And I really got to see a lot of Japanese culture and in the way the Japanese live. And I'm going to offer some observations. Escalators. The subways have escalators that are multi-level, like anywhere else in the world. But the difference is, you stand on one side of the elevator. I stood on the left side in Osaka, and I was advised by Shun, no, you stand on the right side while going up the elevator. The purpose of that is, so people who are in a rush have the left side empty so they can walk up the escalator quick. Considerate people. They do the same thing in Tokyo, but on the left side. When you're on the subway platforms waiting for the train, people stand in a straight line. Now this was during non-rush hour. I do not know how it is during rush hour. Also in Japan, they have subway cars reserved for women only and spots on the platform where they unload and get on and off those subway cars. And that's because men all over the world are lecherous when it comes to women in tight situations. I've heard it happening in New York. In India they have such cars, and now in Japan they have that. I like the idea, so I know I could stand in that portion of the platform and be able to look at the woman getting on the subway, getting off the subway. Eye candy, kids, but you don't touch. Look, no problem. Another aspect of Japanese living is, I noticed these yellow dimensional lines in the subway. I think there was like 4 of them. And they had a little raise to them, and they went off all over the subway system. I thought it was odd. I thought it maybe was some sort of a track for cartwheels. I had no idea what it was. But when I went out to the street and I saw it in the streets, I had to ask, what are those lines for? With raised lines. It's for blind people so that they could be guided through the subways and through the streets and sidewalks, which is very considerate and rather thorough. Another aspect, a lot of the buildings are close to the side, to the street, a couple of feet just from the street. So when you get to an intersection where the alleys are, that a lot of vehicular traffic on the countryside, you can't see around the corner. They solved that. They have these huge curvex round mirrors, so you just can look in the mirror and see what's coming in either direction. But not just in the cities. I noticed that in the countryside, on country roads also. So I'm gathering in that 2,000 miles that I saw these mirrors all over the place, it must be prevalent throughout the nation. Very considerate, very thorough. Taxi drivers. I drove a taxi in New York City during my college years, part-time on weekends in the early 70s. And I could tell you, most of the cab drivers were slobs. Not me. Obviously not me, right? It's always everybody else. But they were slobs. Not in Japan. They wear a tie, a white shirt, and a suit or sports jacket and white gloves. And their vehicles are immaculate. You have no problem getting in and out of there. And I remember recently, and I don't know if it was New York City or here in Dallas, the drivers had to be warned to bathe because the customers were complaining about their body odor when they got in the cabs. Another aspect, business cards. Get yourself a thick business card wallet if you're going, and make sure you put plenty of business cards because they love, and that's part of their tradition, is exchanging business cards. So you do not want to be left out. And also it's a good way to network later on when you each have each other's name and number, etc. Vending machines. They're all over the place. The only place I did not see them was on the elevators. I saw them on the train. Now I don't remember if it was a regular, I don't think it was a subway train. I think it was on the bullet train I saw vending machines. And I was also advised that when the earthquake tsunami hit, that those vending machines, which are controlled electronically, allowed people to take food for free. What a considerate group of people. You know, in other parts of the world, when something like that happens, the prices on those vending machines controlled electronically probably would have increased rather than decreased to 0. A lot of restaurants advertising in their windows their food. They do it with wax creations of the dishes that they serve. And they look better than the actual dish. If you look in the window with these pieces of wax food, they're works of art. That's just something that's slopped together. I mean, it's wonderful to look at them. It makes you hungry, even though you walked out of the restaurant on a full stomach. While in Japan, June, he has a big American Chevrolet van. Big one. So when I stand next to it, I feel like I'm in America. It also makes me realize maybe I need to be in Japan because I feel more at home with the vehicles in Japan. See? See the difference there? It also has to do with peepholes. Peepholes in the doors. I've never looked through one here in the United States because they're always high up. In Japan, they were my level everywhere I went. Then for the first time, I got to look through a peephole, and it was in Japan. Thank you very much, Japan, for allowing me that experience. Toilets. I've read on the internet and heard people say things about the Japanese toilets, how odd and peculiar they are. Really, I have to say. They weren't odd and peculiar. Well, maybe they were because they were very clean, even the public toilets. They were just regular toilets. Now, they had a few of the squat ones. I guess that's for people who come from other countries that are not used to regular toilets. The funny part is they had to put signs up in the regular toilets in the restrooms to advise people how to use it properly. Which I thought was very interesting. So don't believe those stories about the toilets, because whether I was in the countryside, whether I was in the big city, the men's room had urinals, and they had toilets like you would find in Europe. Well, I don't know about Europe, but like you would find here in the United States. Here on YouTube, when I post my videos, I don't know who's watching them as far as the demographic of the person. But at the conferences, I was able to see the demographic that my videos attract. And it's a wide range. It's not bucketed into just one group. Male, female, students to seniors, doctors, teachers, professors, regular just office workers, everybody made it an attraction to come to these conferences, which made me feel good that there was this wide and broad appeal. Not only did it appeal to this wide spectrum of people, it also appeals to Viva. Yeah! Viva echoes something or another. He posts comments on almost all my Japanese related videos. And I've noticed him over the time, but I did not know who he was, what he was, but I was happy to meet him because he's a very nice, kind, and gentle person. So thank you, Viva, for attending the conference and for going to dinner with us afterwards. Alright, folks, that's my take on Japan overview so far. Once again, there'll be subsequent videos in details on various aspects of my visit. Alright, we'll see you. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Japan. And God bless the nation you happen to be in. Well, God's going to be rather busy, isn't he? Alright, we'll see you, folks.